Articulation Radio. Articulation.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another informative and entertaining episode of Articulation Radio. I am your host, the Honorable Walking Man. You know how we do things here at Articulation Radio. We will start off the day's episode by taking a glance at the news headlines, and today's news segment is sponsored by bepublished.org.
Here are three of the news headlines and events I saw today, Thursday, September 9th, 2021, when visiting EliteValuesNews.com. In international news, evacuees plead for action. We are in some kind of jail as Taliban form all-male Afghan government of old guard members. In business news, India raises wheat purchase by 2%. Farmers are disappointed. And in sports, Derek Jeter teases writer who denied him a unanimous selection in Hall of Fame speech. Those are three of the news headlines and events I saw when visiting EliteValuesNews.com on your behalf. As you know, so much happens in this world of ours, and the staff at Elite Values News makes it a point to keep you abreast of as much as possible in as many categories as possible. So be sure to check us out any minute within any hour to see what's happening in this vast world of ours. And feel free to refresh if you want to see what other top headlines are also able to be shared. So head on over right now to EliteValuesNews.com. I am Goddess Sage reporting live. Looking for the latest news? Visit Elite Values News. EliteValuesNews.com has all the latest news and information. Check out the headlines hourly. EliteValuesNews.com. Visit now.
Do you want to be published? Are you looking for a high-quality, low-cost way to be published with a fast turnaround? Visit bepublished.org to publish today. www.bepublished.org. bepublished.org. Publish today. Books, movies, and music. Listeners, we love you, we hear you, and I am so glad to be here with you today on this episode of Articulation Radio. I have an interview coming up for you, and I also have a topic, so stay tuned.
I first would like to introduce a special visitor with us this evening.
Man. Every time I began to explain how hard it is to be me, I get ready to express myself, but then I get the vibe that they don't even want to hear me. But I got the voice that is powerful. See, I was transformed into focus, giving faith, only knowing ultimately that one day I would succeed. But my dreams are my dreams, and for those that don't believe, watch me.
Too black, too strong, too strong.
Gray hairs at an early age defined that I will be made on a whole different page. Knowledge gained with every lesson learned, primed into a new stage. Giving gifted hands that I can one day touch my fellow man and place insight in their lives. You know, a new vision for their eyes. Follow me now. Many ignore my calling, but me the most. Some others false prophesize just to brag or boast that they know the word, or have even had images in their head of what the end of time is like. Focus, for the end of time has not yet to begin, but when the world becomes peaceful, then you are to fear, my friends. And it's like that. Yeah, it's like that. They thought I couldn't do it. Well, I'm back again. Break it down, twist it up, and blow it in the wind. Lean back to the side, and let your seats recline. I'm about to give you this dope dish to ease your mind. A monster was made of me, to one day have the wisdom to defeat the evil beast. And it looks nothing like me. A enhancement of enchanting beauty, a real queen who stands before thee, conquering all emotional thoughts through my tears. For those who ever marked me shall bow at my feet, and to you that may seem speechless to expose your feelings towards me, your mouths will be made open to prove you never doubted me, but was just unsure of my worth. Guidance of your heart will soon be mine, and I am then made to say that I am truly one of a kind. You snakes in sheep's clothing, beware, for I call and hunt you out in despair, that you have defiled me as your queen, and now you are made a disbeliever that is unprepared for focus. Truth spoken, I am she that lies beneath her lyrics. Born ahead of the game, proclaim my fame, ever spoke my name in destroyable blame. What a shame that you now have to catch up just to stay focused. Crown me, how dare you disbelieve in your queen.
ARTistReview.com. All artists need a platform. The Artist Review makes sure you have the one you need to put your work in front of your fans. ARTistReview.com. Artist, REVUE.com.
PeopleWarmer.com. Book your travel today. PeopleWarmer.com. Wherever you want to stay. PeopleWarmer.com. Book everything you need. PeopleWarmer.com. Go ahead whenever you please. And if you need advertising, marketing, and promotions, add on an S and head on over to PeopleWarmers.com. That's PeopleWarmers.com. PeopleWarmers.com for all your media relations, public relations, marketing, advertising, and promotional needs. PeopleWarmers.com.
We kicked off today's episode of Articulation Radio, which is titled Elevating Your Delivery, by playing for you Disbelievers by Miss Kiki, Queen Focus. And after that, you heard The Stories Time Tells by More Than Family. Now, before I play Save Your Love for Me by our very own Goddess Sage, I will be telling you a little bit about the person she's going to be interviewing right after we roll that cut of hers. It is going to be the author, Robert Babcock. He wrote this book, which is titled Mastering the Lost Art of Oratory. Now, people, he's a career educator. He's a senior who definitely is savvy and is exemplary for anyone of any age, especially those who believe they're too old to do something. When I tell you, I would just summarize it like this. This project of his, Mastering the Lost Art of Oratory, and you can head over to Amazon, whatever your favorite book retailer is, and get this book by Robert Babcock, Mastering the Lost Art of Oratory. And again, this career educator put out this project as, I would say, in support of his Young Speakers Academy program that has provided successful students in a wide range of abilities. And when I tell you, it's through this unique curriculum that they offer that I would say is low stress, individualized instruction. Now, this book, Mastering the Lost Art of Oratory, was published by Page Turner Press and Media back in May of 2021. And you can get Robert Babcock's book, which is 226 pages now, for only $10.99 in paperback and for $2.99 as a Kindle ebook. So no reason for you to head on over or to not head on over to Amazon or wherever you decide to get it from. Grab up this work, people. Get it now. Mastering the Lost Art of Oratory by Robert Babcock. Goddess Sage is going to come on shortly and do that interview with him. And then we're going to go ahead and keep this show right on flowing for you the way you like. Let me play a few more of the advertising credits that we need to be sure to roll for you, because we know we got to keep this show on. We got to keep it on. And of course, it's not only to bring you this excellent content, but to make sure that your excellent content is also available. So head on over to articulationmedia.club. Be sure that we know about your music. We can get your ads on. We can get your books promoted, your business, whatever it is that you want to do. We have space for you and time for you as well. So head on over to articulationmedia.club and make it happen. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and roll Save Your Love for Me by Goddess Sage and bring on that interview with the author, Robert Babcock.
If you are a savvy senior who's seeking a lifestyle club that's centered around you, visit sittingroom.xyz today. The Sitting Room, sittingroom.xyz, where savvy seniors socialize, get event invites, organize among themselves, as well as obtain merchandise and get engaged to create new things. The Sitting Room, sittingroom.xyz. Visit today.
Have you always wanted to start a business but can't seem to get it off the ground? Need help building a website? Contact The Conglomerate, 972-880-8316, or visit theconglomerate.work, 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 972-880-8316. Start your new business today.
You are listening to Articulation Radio. Head on over to articulationmedia.club and let us know your thoughts.
Phone lines are open right now at Articulation Radio. Call 312-899-6237. That's 312-899-6237.
Well, yeah, you're loving her. Give it to me, babe. Yeah. Wish I knew why I'm so in love with you. No one else in this world will do. Darling, please save your love for me. Run away. If I were wise, I'd run away. But like a fool in love, I stay and pray you'll save your love for me. I can feel it. Even when you're not here, I can't conceal it. I really love you, my dear. And although no good can come from loving you, I can't do a thing. Oh, I'm so in love with you. So, darling, help me, please. Have mercy on a fool like me. I know I'm lost, but still I see. Darling, please save your love for me. I can feel it. Even when you're not here, I can't conceal it. I really love you, my dear. And although no good can come from loving you, I can't do a thing. Oh, I'm so in love with you. So, darling, help me, please. Have mercy on a fool like me, please. I know I'm lost, but still I see. Darling, please save your love for me. You may have fun in the crowd, but for crying out loud, darling, please save your love for nobody else, just for me. Please, baby, just save your love only for me, yeah, baby. Darling, just save your love only for me, just for me. Yeah, baby, just save your love for me, for me, for me.
Do you frequently shop online and you're looking for a new place to shop? Join the club, JeffersonTaylor.club, where models, designers, inventors, and other creators offer customers the best products at fair prices. Jefferson Taylor, JeffersonTaylor.club. Join the club. Shop today, JeffersonTaylor.club.
Articulation Radio is big.
very pleased to have with us Mr. Robert Babcock, people. Of course, this is the author that I was telling you about. He is the author of that book, Mastering the Art of Oratory. And, of course, as you probably heard Mr. Babcock say when I asked him how he was doing, he just confessed something that he and I have in common. So just in case you didn't hear him, tell him again. Tell him where you just are leaving, Mr. Babcock.
Yes, well, I'm in the front of the store right now, the Dollar Tree. And the Dollar Tree everything is $1.
And everything is so good. My gosh, no matter what you need, you can go and get it from Dollar Tree. And let me ask you this real quick.
Sure.
Now, were you able to only walk in Dollar Tree and get the thing that you went in there for, or did you leave out with other stuff too?
No, I didn't go in there to get anything, but I usually get. I like the cheddar baked puff. What is it?
Yeah, those little
cheddar.
puff chips. Yeah,
puff chips.
Puffs. Yeah.
So I got as many as I could get.
Yes, and I would love for you to now. Those of you who are just tuning in, of course, you're listening to Articulation Radio. My name is Goddess Sage, and I am about to dive deep for a moment with the author Robert Babcock, and his book, Mastering the Art of Oratory, is not only here to help you, I would say, find your platform and be able to stand strong on it, but to be able to help you really see the value of stepping out and being courageous, and I would say trusting the message that you've been giving and just letting it fall out. So, Mr. Babcock, first tell us, how did you get started on this? What made you decide to tackle this? Because you're dealing with a science as well as an art when you're talking about oratory. So why bite off such a big chunk?
Well, I was teaching school. I've been a teacher for many, many years. And I was teaching in an urban area, actually in Rochester, New York. And I'd say, if one wanted to talk about segregated cities, this is probably one of the most segregated in the United States. So I was in the school I was in was permanently all black. And what I did is I was able to make a development with the University of Rochester, which is one of the big employers in Rochester. And what I did is I set up a mentoring program whereby my students, these are fifth graders, my students were attached to a professional at the University of Rochester and one or two other places also. And so I developed that program, and then it worked out great because the students were allowed, I allowed them, and back then a teacher could allow students to do different things, whereas now they can't. But so I had a relative of theirs was able to pick them up and then take them to the hospital, and then they spent about an hour with their mentor. And then we'll come back and write down what they did. And then I was thinking, gee, maybe they could speak about it too. So I had them speak about it too, and then taught them along with a great help from the Toastmasters group. Got them into speaking, and it worked out great. So from there, it went to other places I taught after that. After I retired from the city school district. And then taught in some jails and state prison, actually up in a famous one, Attica. Taught up there with inmates. And then I taught in a number of other places, private schools, and then homeschool co-ops, too. In the homeschool co-ops, as it turned out, great students. And what they did is they went on and won a number of scholarships and money. So those listening, if you have a child, a student, or if you have a grandchild, like in my case, or a relative that you're a neighbor that you're very fond of, encourage them to become speakers, and they can. And they've got really great mentors too, that they may say, well, I don't know, it's too hard. Well, it is hard, But if they're committed to it, they'll do well. If they go to church, and then they listen to the pastor and understand how he's saying it, what he's saying, how does he introduce it, how does he come to conclusions, and it might be a parent says, well, what do you think? And, about the message. And we know in oratory, which, by the way, if some people may not be familiar with the term, oratory is public speaking. But it's public speaking in a way that's, in many cases, poetic. If we think of Martin Luther King Jr. when he gives his "I Have a Dream" speech, and he repeats "I have a dream" 3 different times. Well, for most people, we say, "Well, once is enough." Well, in a good oratory, the 3 times works well. 3 is almost a magic number in speaking. In good oratory. So and then if you read, of course, Abraham Lincoln's 2 major speeches, the Gettysburg Address, and then, of course, the second inaugural address, and those are just loaded with oratory pieces there, too. So it's just amazing. And students are able to do that, too.
And what is for people who are like, I know the value of speaking. I even have been given a few little things, but look, I'm afraid of public speaking, and I was really hoping that when he's like mastering the art of oratory, that he would say something like, you really don't have to really get up and speak, but I can already tell now, no, it's no way around it. But so I'm already shaking in my boots. So for people who are that fearful and stage fright, and probably some people that the moment you said public speaking, they're like, oh, I hate that word. Like they probably broke out in a sweat. So what would you say to kind of help people relax into it and to find their natural speaking when they do public speaking?
It's an excellent question, and can be very fearful. It was for me too. As I tell the students, the first time I was asked to speak, I really didn't want to. Even when I was in high school, it's not a track I was interested in. But then, as you get older and say, well, this is, the ability to be able to, we all have ideas, and your listeners have ideas too, and probably great ideas. And then who are they sharing that with? Maybe sharing it with somebody that thinks the same. But maybe they like to talk to some people who don't quite get it. Well, how do you present that? And here it comes in where it's almost like a debate. To have a debate, you have to have what's called a claim. That means, what's your point? And then to establish that point, you have to have information. The logic behind it, the generalities, the thoughts, and especially the passion. And I would say passion because, in speaking itself, there are 2 parts to it. One is the content, what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, and then the other one is the delivery. And then the delivery is, how do you excite the audience? If they're not excited about what you're going to say, they're not interested. Well, how do you make it exciting? Well, you might use some words that excite them, too. You ask a question. You might do it to start it out, just to get the feeling for where they are. So they can do it. I'm sure they do it in a small group, as you said. Might be in a small group. In public speaking, might be big. Might be 1 person, it might be 5 people, it might be 100 people. And actually, it's what I found, and you probably have too, is the bigger the audience, the easier it is to speak. Because you're going to get you're going to get a response back from them. They may smile, they may nod their head, they may do different things. Actually,
and it's even easier to not be pressured. And I know it's different for different people. Some may think that you and I are, totally insane for saying, no, the more people, the easier. But like for me, it's easier because it's fewer people that I have to feel like are really paying attention to me. Because if it's a whole lot of people there, I'm thinking, okay, it's easy for them to tune me out. They don't even have to pay attention to me. I can just say whatever, and they'll be chatting with each other, or they'll be looking at this person's Netflix or watching this. So I figured they'll keep each other distracted and entertained, and it'll take the pressure off me. So I love the more people makes it easier for me. But there are some people who are like, when the moment they look out, whether they see one person, 10 people, or 100 people, it's all the same. They're just afraid of seeing the people, but they know that they, won't ever be blessed to be able to deliver something in a dark room. For people who visually, it's just overwhelming, and that's their big fear, is knowing that these people really are looking at them. For people who are afraid to be seen, they don't mind speaking. They just don't want people looking at them, and they're they would rather have their back to the audience and do just fine. How can you help them face the audience?
Well, there's something. There's if you're looking at maybe 3 parts in classical speech, and that would be the logic of it, and then also the first thought, the first thing that a speaker does. They walk on the stage, maybe, or they stand up from their chair, and then what we're doing as an audience is getting a first look. How do they present themselves? Do you think they might be honest? Are they honest? And then you get into, are they truthful when they're talking? Are they concerned about me? Do we have some things in common? All those things an audience is going to look at, and that's what the speaker should be aware of, too. How do I look? I've had students in the past, not many of them. I'm talking about, if I'm doing a judging of a competition, and a student comes out, and most of the young men are wearing sports coats or suits even, and ties, and then you get the person who comes out there with sneakers and a polo shirt and hair not combed that well, and you say, my thought is, there's no way this guy's going to win. He just can't do it because he's not presenting himself. And he could have a great speech. It doesn't matter. He's lost them as soon as he steps out there. So for speakers, say, how do I look? Am I prepared? Are they going to accept me for who I am? And then you get into your speech, your presentation, and say, what's my point that I want to make? What kind of speech do I want? Do I want to be humorous? Do I want to present it so that they can learn something? Or do I want to present it in a way that I can encourage them to do something? So there's a number of things, but those things have to be, I'm not saying studied. A person can naturally do that, and your listeners can do that. They can naturally think, yes, I've got something to say. I really do. Yeah. It could be in any area, but it's got to be interesting, too. And I remember a famous author saying that, you have to have, a great story has to have a great theme. And he talked about love and hate and things that, a boy found a girl, lost a girl, found her again, something like that, which is interesting. It ties it in and makes it interesting for the audience. So we need to do that, too. Now, I would like to, if I could take just a minute and tell you what's the problem with American education? What's the problem today? And I think there's a couple of things.
Yeah, what's the problem? Tell us the problem, Robert, because you have a lot of experience. He's a senior.
And I got
has seen a lot in great tacit knowledge. So tell us what the problem is and what solutions you offer.
And I do have the solution, too. So, the problem is, there are a couple of problems. One is the definition of a teacher. And the definition of a teacher is a Latin term, and it's called parentis in absentia. And that means the teacher is the parent in the absence of the parent. So what a teacher is supposed to do is not present their own philosophy of things, but what would their parents say? How would their parents deliver this? And the parent loves the child. And I think a good teacher understands, first of all, this kid, I don't know if I want this kid or that kid or whatever, this one. Don't make that decision. Just understand the parent's sending the best they've got. And what are you going to do with that child? to get the best that they've got. So it's, you present you develop a love and a respect for that child. The other thing is that if you look back again, I'm mentioning his name again, Martin Luther King Jr. And Martin Luther King Jr. in his "I Have a Dream" speech, he talks about the government was given a promissory note. And, of course, we know what promissory note is, a promise to pay. Well, it's the same thing in education. Parents have given a promissory note, the teachers have given a promissory note to the parent saying, I'm going to do the very, very best that I can for your child. Very, very best. And what we're finding out, that's not enough. That's not happening. Right now, we're off where we should be. Speaking, writing, grammar, these are things that should be across the curriculum, taught in every area. There's no reason it can't be in like social studies, history, because a student can get up and give a presentation on one of those, some item in history. And that's not done. You might say, well, teacher might say we need an essay. Speaking's not important because that's not my area. And then speaking of that, what teachers have done, what we've done in education, is have separate categories. And it brings to my mind, something in a local college did. And I happened to be talking to one professor, and he's talking about students that he had. And what happened is that these students were in a course for architecture, and then they were asked to make a blueprint. Then, because the school that they were in, the college that they were in, needed this to become certified, they took the students to this college, took the students to New York City to meet with a professional architectural firm to get their presentation of what they did. Well, they did it, and then when they came back, then their grades followed them. And what was interesting was that the professionals said these students did not know how to talk about what they've done. That was a big criticism. They could do something, but they couldn't explain it. And then the second thing is that their blueprints weren't done correctly. So the big thing was on speaking. They couldn't talk. And then the professor who was teaching him the architectural course and blueprinting was told about that, and he said, that's not my job. My job is not to teach them grammar. My job is not to teach them how to write. My job is not to teach them how to speak. And that's what we've done in a lot of places.
Right, everybody passes the buck.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that, colleges will, as you probably know, will blame it on the high school. In the high school, blame it on the middle school and elementary school, and then the younger teachers will, in the younger classes, will blame it on the parents. And the fact is, it's not the parents' fault.
In truth, parents are the first teachers to their children, and I really don't think it's fair to the child or the teachers or the institutions for parents to not impart anything into their children other than giving them these pretty names and these expensive clothes, and they don't teach their children any manners. They don't teach their children to be obedient. Right, and if you haven't even taught your child to listen and to follow directions and be obedient, how can I teach them anything? Because I'm going to need them to listen and follow directions and be obedient in order for me to teach them. But let me ask you this, and this is my next to the last question to you, because I know there are some people who are like, look, I want to know more about that book. I hate Amazon. I want that book, but I don't want to go to Amazon. Do you have your own website? Or I'm imagining, even if you don't, that people don't have to just go to Amazon. They can get it from pretty much any bookstore in the world, right?
They can, yeah. Yes, they can. Yeah, they can get it from any bookstore. And the whole name of the book is Mastering the Lost Art of Oratory, because it is lost. This was lost probably in the 1914 is when the big change came about. Separation of different class. You know, you have a speech class, and then you have a writing class, and you have this class and that class. Instead of it all connecting together, which is what it should do. That's what a parent does at home. They know who their child is. They know who the child is. You're absolutely right about the parent. You're absolutely right. And the parents, with this book, the parent can teach this at home. And then they can contact, if they want to, they can contact me on one of the websites. I'll have, there's be 2 different websites. And they can find the website in that book.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And so, people, you have to be sure to head on over and grab up your copy of Mastering the Lost Art of Oratory by Mr. Robert Babcock. And, of course, get it from Amazon, get it from Borders, Barnes & Noble, whomever you want to get it from. Your mom and pop shop there in Mogadishu, the store around the corner, wherever you want to get it from. But remember, Robert Babcock, because remember now, people, we all know that in order for us to even be able to express to people our ideas, or to even be able to let people know when, no, we don't quite agree, or we cannot go along with that, we have to be able to be comfortable verbalizing things. And this book is going to work well whether you are an adult, whether you are a young person, whether you're someone who wants to get into public speaking or politics, or definitely if you're someone who wants to be in entertainment. You definitely need this, and any element of entertainment, you do need this. And I also say just anyone who, if you want to be sure that you are indeed fortified as an individual and that you have made it a point to, I would say, train your voice to be fully expressive, then I would recommend this book as well for you, because you're going to get a lot of great little tips in here. You're going to have stories you'll be able to relate to, and you're going to be able to get actual creative scientific steps that you'll be able to immediately apply, and you'll be able to see these new methods be able to take shape and make your presentation and your speech a lot stronger. And now let me ask you, Mr. Babcock, my very last question to you. What is there that you would like to say to the listeners of Articulation Radio that you've not yet had an opportunity to express?
Well, I got one other things about one of the problems with today's education, and I'll make this the last point. There's several others. I'll make this the last point. The reason it's not taught, and I'm talking about specifically in New York State, but I'm sure this is nationally, is the teachers are not going to teach it because they don't test it. And if they don't test it, they're not going to teach it. And one of the reasons for that is that's how teachers are evaluated. They're evaluated, their jobs, based upon the test scores that the children deliver, or the testing that they deliver, and the test taking, the test scores that are handed out. And that's how the evaluation of the students goes, and that's the evaluation of the teachers, just by the test. They're not going to test, as I've been told, they're not going to test, they're not going to teach public speaking or oratory. They're not going to teach it because they don't test it. And the state doesn't seem to care about it. Now, one of the advantages of the book is that the book does evaluate that. We have evaluations in the back of the book. How do you evaluate your child? How do you evaluate yourself? And there's some good pieces in there. I appreciate what you said about the book, and you're absolutely right. We make it as practical as I could, and it is. And we do have that testing in the back. But I just wish, teachers take a look at it. But I don't think they're going to.
Well, and you never know, because a lot of people are looking for and will appreciate any and all help they get. And while you're right, most people probably won't go through and use that exact thing, but I guarantee you, the majority of the ones who don't use it will create their own based on it, or will be like, you know what? I got this. Once I read through it, I got this in my head. I'm going to go ahead and just apply it. And they probably won't even realize that they are actually utilizing step by step. They're probably thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to apply the main things I remember, and not even realizing because it all makes perfect sense that they're actually going right down your list and just don't realize it. So you did a wonderful job. And do you have other books coming out?
Yeah, there's a couple of other books. By the way, the cost of that book is $11.
Thank you.
And it's a paperback, and it's really, I think, really, really well done, well put together. $11.
Yes.
And then there's a book that would accompany that, and that's written by a 15-year-old young girl, one of my students that I coach.
Oh.
And she did very well in local, and then in the New York State American Legion contest. She goes through the whole process of how she felt. She was nervous and all that stuff, problems of memorization. She went through the whole thing. Beautiful job, and I think that's $4. That's only, and that's, and that should be right next to that book when somebody buys it. It's written by
so
Sarah
people definitely, and
Thompson.
tell them the name of that work and her name.
Yeah, her name is Sarah Thompson, and I'm trying to think of it now. It's the Competition Handbook. It's called.
Very good. So people definitely keep your eyes peeled for Sarah's handbook, but definitely go out right now. Get Robert Babcock's Mastering the Art of Oratory, Mastering the Lost Art of Oratory. And, of course, as you know, he did tell you that if you are going on to Amazon to get Mastering the Lost Art of Oratory, then you will be able to see where they mention that companion workbook there is going to be suggested alongside it. So, Mr. Babcock, thank you so much for taking out time to hang with us today on Articulation Radio. You are welcome to come back here at any given time you please.
Oh, I'd like that very much. Yeah, and I can, when if you have just a moment, another book that's coming out, and that'll be on on mentoring, and this is where I actually started with 10-year-old black children, young kids. So it means 10-year-old 5th grade, where I developed a mentoring program, and then how I did it. It's got step by step and how it's done. And then you can listen to what these children can do. Speaking, they're 10-year-olds, and they do a beautiful job. So, and that's coming out. And that'll be out later.
Okay, well, definitely come back here when you get that book out and be sure to tell us more about it, and we're going to help you get some extra sales with that as well. People head on over, grab up Mr. Robert Babcock's book, and make sure that you stay tuned and check back. And also, once you grab up that Mastering the Lost Art of Oratory, don't forget, people, go back and write a review, leave a review, and definitely encourage your friends and family to do the same. Make that purchase and drop a review. Now, we're going to keep this show rolling for you. Mr. Bob, thank you so much for coming and hanging with us.
Well, you did a beautiful job, too, and I can tell you're an excellent orator. Excellent speaker.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It comes from both sides in my family.
If you'd like more information on how you can be an eyelash artist, call us at 314-560-1641 or 888-585-LASH, lashingoutloudinc.com.
Media Room 360 TV. Media Room 360 TV is a channel that has something for everyone, from world news, inspiration, programming for kids, politics, sports, technology, and entertainment. Media Room 360 TV has got you covered. Check out one of our shows today on Roku. Media Room 360 Internet Television on Roku. And if you need a speaker, head over to Media Room 360 Speakers at MediaRoom360.com. That's MediaRoom360.com.
Articulation Radio, thanks you so much for listening. So head on over right now to articulationmedia.club and let us know your thoughts on today's episode. In the meantime, we're going to keep the show rolling for you.
There is trouble it's hard to confide. You move my world right every time. Sprint you magic in. You belong with the fairies. No matter what I say, it's black or white, not gray. Gotta stay loose when next to you, for sure, or else you get bruised. There's no pick and choose, for sure. You set the weather, every cloud, every rain. You're above and beyond. Every tune is your song. Doesn't matter what I say, there is no other way. Gotta stay loose when next to you, for sure, or else you get bruised. There's no pick and choose, for sure. Oh, don't shift, don't change. Keep driving me crazy. Easy gets colorless. I like your man. Gotta stay loose when next to you. I wanna be sure, or else you get loose. There's no pick and choose, for sure.
Are you looking for grant writers, technical writers, creative writers, academic writers, any kind of writers? Head to the Writers Consortium. Their website, writersconsortium.us, www.writersconsortium.us, the Writers Consortium, writersconsortium.us, for all of your writing needs. Think of it, they can produce it for you. They are the ghost writers to the top people.
You just heard For Sure by Ray and Ray featuring Rebel Day. Up next for you is Jesse's Theme by Rachel Ann Cox, followed by Won't You Come Closer by Stonekeepers featuring Lakeisha Nugent.
Would you like a motivational speaker to come to your company or organization to speak to your group? Visit lifespurposeministries.com. That's lifespurposeministries.com.
Want to buy stocks, jewels, real estate, or other high-end items? Would you love to be able to contribute to charitable initiatives but cannot do these things with the money you currently have? Join Regal City Investment and Social Club, where you can pool money each month with other investors to make major purchases, give to the needy, and possibly turn a profit. www.regalcity.xyz. Become a Regal citizen today by joining Regal City Investment and Social Club. regalcity.xyz.
Soul is on fire, so won't you come closer? You know it's alright. Won't you come closer, baby? Stay with me tonight. We're in this crazy, hazy land. Let's get away from this bar. Baby, take my hand. We don't have to walk that far to get to my home place. I want to show you something more. Let's reach out for a place where we've never been before. Don't need to hesitate, 'cause it's getting late. The night is warm and sweet. We're soaking from the heat. Let's go, just you and me. We can set us free tonight. So won't you come closer? You know it's alright. Won't you come closer, baby? Stay with me tonight. So won't you come closer? You know it's alright. Won't you come closer, baby? Yeah. Stay with me tonight.
Weddings are expensive, but your love is worth it. Go to marryusnow.us to book the Minister of Love to officiate your wedding today. The fee is only $200 if your wedding is in the city of Chicago, and there's only a small fee to get the Minister of Love to travel outside of Chicago to your wedding location. Book the Minister of Love today. Visit marryusnow.us. That's marryusnow.us.
My people, my fam, my folks, I thank you so much. We all here at Articulation Radio, thank you so much for tuning in today and making us a part of what it is that you do. We encourage you to go over to our website, articulationmedia.club, and let us know not only what you think about today's episode, but make sure that your music, your interview, and your ad all take place right here on this station, Articulation Radio. Go to articulationmedia.club right now and hook yourself up Make sure that you do that so you can hook other people up. But be sure to tune in again on Articulation Radio. We'll catch you again soon. And in the meantime, you already know, keep being a doer, keep being a move maker, and keep making things happen.
How long have you been sitting on that manuscript? It's time to move it forward. Stop talking. Bepublished.org. 972-880-8316. Articulation. 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 Articulation.